Okay, everyone, welcome to Math, what is this, 1414, Section 37. Sorry, I'm a little shaky today. That's me, Robert. You can call me Robert, that's fine. Call me Mr. DiGiovanni if you'd like, whatever, just as long as it's respectable, I guess. How many of you, someone wrote on this, how many of you watched my orientation video, did all the things I asked you to do? Let's see, I can tell you, I can bring it up online, but I've had some stuff out on our website on Canvas for over a week, I think. I know that Andrew, Tatiana, is it Avion or Abion? Avion, Kayla, Santos, Melinda, Melina, Juan, Adriana, Crystal, Brandon, Megan, Alan, right? All of you did that doodle thing where you put your schedule in. And so for those 12 people, I put together the layout of the entire week. Okay, how many of you didn't do this? Just raise your hand real quick. Okay, you need to get on Canvas, and you need to go look at all the stuff that's out there. I've sent like 3 emails, I think, already. Anybody who does not know how to get to Canvas, get to their email, you need to come to me so I can show you. I'm not going to go through it here, all right? So what I've done is I've requested that everyone put like when they can study. Like when are you free to study for math? And what I've done is I put everyone's name across the top, then the days and the times, and what I'd like to do is let you kind of look around and say, hey, look, you know, this person almost has the identical schedule to me, and what I want to do is try and form groups in the class based on that. But we don't have everybody's data yet, so I'm waiting till, let's say by next class, I need everyone to fill this out. It's a quiz grade. If you filled it out before today, it was 110 out of 100. If you fill it out before next class, it'll be worth 100 points out of 100. If you don't fill it out by Friday, it's a 0 on your first quiz, all right? So I'm going to pass this around. This will be updated. Just take one and pass them around. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. If it says OK in one of these little cells, then that means that person says they can study during that time. All right, let's talk a little bit about this class before I get too far ahead of myself here, because I'm going to overwhelm you with information today. Math 1414 is a pre-calculus track math course. In other words, the idea is that everybody in this class is going to be taking pre-cal, all right? If you know you don't need pre-cal, then you probably shouldn't be here. So when I first started teaching, there was only one college algebra, all right? There was only one. And then they decided, you know what, we're going to split it into 2, the people who don't need that much more math and the people who do. And with that, we gain 1 extra hour, credit hour in this course. So this is an hour, 40-minute lecture. So there's pros and cons to that. Because back in the old days, you know, I would have a class full of people who just hated math. This is the last math class they need. And I had people who loved math and needed to take Calculus 3. And so I'd have to try and find that mixture, you know, so that was a challenge. Now, I teach it like all of you are going to take calculus. That's the way I teach it. And so if you still struggle with math and you only need, what, pre-cal maybe, you know, you're going to get the more rigorous math here. All right, so I asked you also to fill out a survey. So let's talk about the class a little bit. This survey on SurveyMonkey asked you to fill out. One of the questions I asked was how many hours do you work per week? I think that's a huge factor with students, all right? Look, I could just start getting into math today, all right? I'm going to spend this entire week trying to form some connections between us, all right? Because in our experience teaching this class, if we just walk in here and slaughter you with math and you never like get to know each other, it can be pretty brutal, all right? So I want to try and get you to know each other a little bit. So let's see what we got in the class. I haven't looked at this lately. These are just random people here. Someone in here is working 30 to 40 hours a week, 25 plus. I'm not sure what NA means. I mean, I know what it means. Does that mean not applicable means I don't work, or I just don't feel like telling you? I'm not sure. Well, this person was a little bit vague, all right? 13 hours a week, I don't work, great. Wonderful. Wonderful. That's what full-time students are supposed to do. Full-time student is full-time student. Now, I understand this, I understand the population here. It's not the case. A lot of people have to work, all right? So this is a good situation for this person. 20 to 25 hours, not sure yet. 30 hours, none. I guess they don't work also. Great. How many hours a week do you have to study for all your classes? Okay, now different students are taking different number of classes, but I looked through it. Most of you are at least 3 to 4 courses, all right? So, not applicable. Not sure what that means again. Not going to study, not going to tell me, I'm not sure. 15, okay, maybe. 10, if you're taking full-time load, that's not enough. 15, again, depends. 7, if you're taking a full-time load, that's not enough time. 12, maybe. Pardon? How many hours? Well, it depends on what you're taking, all right? It really does. But I think for a class like this, you need at least 4 to 5 hours outside of class per week. So after you leave here, you need 4 to 5 hours to do your homework. I did your first 3 homework assignments, and the homework assignments took me at least 2 hours apiece, all right? So, and that's me. I know what I'm doing, and I'm showing all the detail, which is what you need to do also. So it took me a long time to get through the work. It should take you a long time also, all right? 12 hours. Every day, 3 to 4 hours, great. This will probably work. What's your major? So what do we have in here? Biology, pre-med probably, right? So what happened maybe not. When I first started teaching, okay, if you wanted to be pre-med or biology degree, the prerequisite was pre-cal. And then I believe now at Texas A&M, if you want to go pre-med, I think it's their biology track, I believe it's Cal 2. Certain tracks, Texas A&M has a bunch of different ways you can get into pre-med, but I know my niece is doing pre-med and she needs Cal 2. Okay, why? Why do you need Cal 2 to be a doctor? They're thinning the herd. Okay, they are narrowing the pool down. All right, they up the math requirement to thin out how many people can do it. Right? Everyone wants to be a doctor. Well, we can't accommodate that, so we just bring up the math requirement. All right, I don't do that, but that's the reality that people are facing. So we have people who want to be pre-med who have to take calculus too. That's a lot of math. Engineering, okay. Computer science, yes. Mechanical engineering, biology again, engineering. Applied science, engineering, biology. So we have a pretty good mixture of engineer-like level and then people who just need biology, so not really in love with math necessarily, but, got to get it, right? Okay, what's your last math class? I won't go through these a lot, but I'll just tell you that, because it has a lot of personal stuff in there. I'll just say that there are quite a few people who took this already and are retaking it. And here's the reason why. Okay, normally, this is actually the first time I've ever taught 14-14. All right, I taught 13-14 before it became 2 classes. I pretty much stay pre-cal and higher. So I teach pre-cal, cal 1, 2, 3. And so what we're having is people coming into calculus totally unprepared. They're just getting slaughtered. And so what was I trying to say? What was I asking? Oh, okay. So what happened was the 14-14 became more rigorous. And we just, no exceptions. Like no one's just going to kind of get through 14-14 and wind up in pre-cal. Okay? So this is kind of like the gatekeeper now, right? If you're going to do math higher than this, you've got to get through this course. All right? So, but I'm not here to try and say, okay, only 5 of you should pass. I'm here to say every one of you can pass, but it all depends on, hey, can we do it another time? Sure? You don't mind? I know you came all the way over here, but okay. All right, thank you. So because this is like kind of the gatekeeper, my expectation of you is high. All right? I expect you to meet the challenge. If you don't meet the challenge, you just won't get through the course. But it's not because I'm trying to, be mean to you. Just this is a real math college level course. The expectation is not high school. All right? This is an interesting one. Do you enjoy math? 33% of you do. 10% of you don't. And the rest of you say, sometimes. But sometimes that's interesting, right? I mean, I think, can we all agree that math, when you do, like, get it, it's kind of fun, maybe? I mean, on the borderline of enjoyable? But the problem is that it takes so much to get to that sometimes, right? And I can tell you, when I was in graduate school, it was mostly suffering, and then you would get a solution. And that little solution, that reward, was enough to make the suffering worth it, And if you like that, that's the type of person you are, then this, engineering, math, that's where you want to go, right? But you have to be willing to suffer. All right, that's it. Okay, so that's kind of like the demographics here, what we have going on in the classroom. I'm going to incorporate some new technology. I'm all technology, obviously. This is like, I'm recording this lecture. This will be on YouTube later today and everything else. Well, the only thing that will be on YouTube is what's up here and my voice, all right? Again, go to our Canvas site, watch my orientation video. Okay, so what we have here, this will be cool, I think. We'll see. It might suck and we may not do it, but we have these clickers, okay? So I've assigned to each student in the class a clicker. And every day when you come into class, I'm just going to lay the clickers out on a table. It has a number on it. You come pick up your number and you sit in class, all right? So this is the first day. I'm going to hand them out one by one. When I call you, come get it. I'll call your number, okay? Hanny, if I say it wrong, correct me. Hanny? All right. How about Rachel? Come on up. You're number 2, Rachel. These are in alphabetical order. Christian, you're 3. Let's come grab it up here. Alan, you're 4. Kayla, 5. Number 6 is Joshua Gonzalez. Number 7 is Daniel Gonzalez. Joshua H. 8. Jesus, number 9. Number 10 is Andrea Ibarra. Number 11, Juan Labato. 12, Nakash. I said okay? Number 12. 13 is Edward. Okay, what do we got here? 14, Brandon. 15 is, I'm gonna get it. I don't want to try too hard. It's just Avion? Avion, all right. I'm wanting to say Avion, but all right. 16, Jeffrey. If you go by something else, just let me know. Oh, great. Couldn't just be Jeff, huh? All right. Andrea Ramos. 18, Tatiana. Oh, I'm sorry. Ramos, 17, Adriana. Tatiana from Russia. Yes. 19, Pablo. Melina. There you go. We're almost done. Santos, 21. Number 22 is Megan. Megan, show me. 23, Crystal. 24 is Andrew Trejo. And 25, Jordan Vargas. Okay. Andrew Wolf is 26. How do you mean tutoring? Oh, okay. Yeah, this schedule right here, I'm asking you as a student when you're free, 26. Okay, so what you can do is you can look, like for example, just look at the first page. I'm going to act like I am Kayla, all right? Do you have this? No? Here, take another copy. Are there extras? Give me an extra one. Passive. You need one? Well, did you fill it out? You're supposed to fill out. Have you gone to our website and done all the stuff for the class? Read the? You did? Did you get the? Did you check your email? Okay, check your email. I sent 3 different emails. 2 of them have surveys in them. So fill out that survey. So if I'm Kayla, right? Sorry, Kayla. Then I'm looking at, okay, Mondays around 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. Kayla's free. So maybe she wants to get together with Adriana, Crystal, and Brandon because, no, Adriana, Crystal, and maybe Megan can meet them later. So you can kind of see when your classmates are free. You form your own groups. I'm going to try and form groups myself for you, but I need everybody to fill this out first. So I have everyone's name. Does that make sense? This is not like when you can go get help. This is when you go figure out your classmates and get to know each other and help each other out. Make sense? Okay. Today in part of next class is all about forming bonds between you, because if you kind of become part of a group, you're less likely to quit. All right? That's just the reality of it. And when you know your group depends on you, you're more likely to do your part. So we'll see what happens. Now, your grade is not going to be based on group stuff. I know people are like, damn, I hate group stuff because my group mate, they suck and they never do anything. That's not it. It's just, I'm going to try and help out by forming groups. If this class, everyone's an introvert and just wants to sit in a shell, that's fine too. I don't care. But I'm going to do my part to try and make this gel. All right? Okay. So this little clicker thing, the way that I'd like to do this, you understand when you come into class, you'll have your little clicker. You come up and get yours, right? That's your number for the rest of the semester. After class, you must come put that back on my desk because my next class is going to use the same ones. All right, so what I do is I come in here and I say I'm in my 1414 class, and if you could, please, press 1 if you're here. Press 2 if you're not here. Press 1 if you're here. All right? So that's everyone that's here. I've now taken attendance. All right? And now what I would do is I would say something like, now, okay. Just give me an example of how this works, all right? Now, of course, you're supposed to be taking notes and stuff in class also. Don't just be sitting there with your clicker like waiting, Okay, so I'm going to be sitting here and I'm be doing something like, just going to make something up. How about this? Okay, so that's the antiderivative, the integral, x squared dx is equal to 1/3 x cubed plus constant of integration. That make sense? Well, you don't need to shake your head. Tell me it doesn't make sense. Hit number 2 if it doesn't make sense. All right? Okay, so what I want this to be is like a real-time kind of like when I turn and ask you, because as long as I've been teaching, I always turn around and ask, get it? Do you understand? And, people are too afraid. So now you can just sit under your desk and be like, I have no frickin' idea. What are you talking about? Okay, and there's no harm, no foul. I'm not going to call you out, all right? And what I'm looking for is about 80% okay. If I get 80% okay, we'll move on. We'll keep going, all right? Now, I might change that. I've never used this before, so I don't know how it's going to work. I might have to bring that down to like 60%. I'm not sure, all right? And 4%. Who said yes? Yeah? You seen integration before? Okay. Okay. Okay, so you've seen it before. Okay. All right. Well, so this is what I'm looking for, all right? That makes sense? Okay, and we'll just see how it goes. Hopefully it'll get to a point where we don't even need the clickers anymore. That you just, when I turn around, you're not afraid anymore. You just say like, I don't get it. All right. I might give quizzes this way. It depends. I need to see how this technology will work. All right. Everyone understand? You get the idea. All right. So what are we going to do today? Talk a little bit more. I'm not going over the syllabus or anything like that because it's all online. Any questions up to this point? Any questions? No, you can talk to me. Yes. Yes. You need a scientific calculator at the bare minimum. A graphing calculator is recommended if you're going to go on and do more math, but I'm not saying you have to have a graphing calculator. I do not restrict what type of calculator you can have, although on a test you have to show all your work, right? I don't know. Is that it? Is that I have the hardback version, but I've heard it's like an a la carte version. Let me see that. That looks right. Okay. How much is this? How much is this? $140. Okay. 30 bucks. Yeah. Can you hold that up? That's the correct version of the book. What edition does it say on it? Let me see what. It's the ninth edition of Sullivan's Algebra and Trigonometry. This is also used for pre-cal. So if you need pre-cal, ninth edition. That's also on the website, but it says a la carte version, doesn't it? On it. So I should probably mute my audio and give you my personal opinion. Okay, any other questions? Textbook, you're good. Um, yes? They do. They do. If you want to go up there and like take some pictures, yeah, that's fine. I just wouldn't do it all semester. Yeah. Anything else? Oh, veterans. Now I can't call you out, but I know I do have some veterans in the class. Recently, Texas initiated a, I don't know what you call it, but all veterans, I believe, and I may get this wrong, when they go to college, they are automatically college ready, which means that even if a student is not at the developmental level, is not at college level to come in and take math, this institution cannot prevent a veteran from taking this course. So if you're in this class because the state says you can be here, please be aware of the fact that this course doesn't have any sort of reference to your level. So if you feel blown completely out of the water, it might be because you're just not ready for this. So it's supposed to be a good thing, but I think it's a terrible thing because what it does is it can actually waste a person's time because they have to realize, you know what, I have to figure out on my own that I have to go back and take a couple of classes before this to get up to speed. So if you're in that boat, just be aware that, I'm willing to try and help you get into another class if you feel out of it. All right. So let's talk a little bit about expectations. I always like to hear what makes a good, we'll say good, not great. What makes a good teacher? Let's go. I'm asking you. You tell me some characteristics of a good teacher. Organized? Consistency in what term? Okay, consistent. Sorry, I'm not taking my time to write neatly right now. And spelling, I just don't care about. I just gave up on that like in 5th grade. That's why I'm a math person, right? Is that spelled wrong? I don't care. I don't care. I'm sorry. I should care, right? I don't, though. All right, consistent. Um, okay, so you want to make it easy. How about make it understandable? What else? Bubble? Different approaches? What would you Can you give me an example? Or like if I tried to show you a certain way of doing something and it doesn't click, then you want me to be able to have a different way of showing you the same thing. Okay. What else? What makes a good teacher? Not boring. All right. That's going to be a tough one. So far, is this boring? You can let me know over there honestly. All right. All right. I'm not going to. Now, I could call out the 22% if I wanted to. No. I'm just kidding. I have to run a report to see who actually voted yes and no. So I'm not going to call you out. I promise you. I will never do that. Um, what else? Communication? Jay? Uh-oh. Second chances. Okay. I'm putting it on the list. Anything else? All right. Well, um, let's flip it. All right. What makes a good student? Communication. I agree. Study habits. I think we need to talk about that a little bit more. This is probably the biggest. This is the reason why I'm sitting here and I'm not doing math right now, because as a department, we decided this past semester that we were going to spend the first week in this class talking about you. All right? And I mean, you're going to do math, okay? Trust me. You're about to do an activity that's probably going to blow you out, blow you away a little bit. But it's all about you this week. All right? Study habits. I can't understate this. This is why I asked how many hours you work. This is why I asked you how many hours you have free. You have to be realistic. Okay? If I want to be an engineer, why can I not go register at a major university and get an engineering degree in one semester? Why? Why do I have to go through and do a 4-year degree? Why can't I do it in 1 year? Can't learn it that fast? Why not? Maybe that's what my life's going to be. I mean, we are human. There is a limit to how much we can absorb. It's how much we can do in a given day. I mean, we still need to sleep, right? Unless you're on Adderall, right? It is college, yeah. I mean, usually Adderall doesn't come in until later on. You need Adderall for this class. You're in big trouble if you're an engineer. Um, it's it's impossible, all right, to do that much information in that little amount of time. Just like when you break it down more narrow, if you are working 40 hours a week, you are taking 15 hours, maybe you have a kid, you have to be realistic. Something must give. You cannot do all of that. And if you keep on doing it every semester and keep on, falling short of your goals, you have nobody to blame but yourself. You cannot do that. All right? I've met very few students in my life who can balance all of that. Now, it's possible, but the majority of people can't do it. All right? So when I was a full-time student, undergraduate, I waited tables on the weekends. That was it. It was enough to make rent, eat. That was all I did, right? Grad school, I worked at the university, so, that worked out. So what happens if you can't quit your job? You have to work. Well, you take less classes. That's what you do. All right? So hopefully, if anything from this, you kind of reflect on your own situation and find what's best for you. But if you come in for help, I'm more than happy to help you. But if you have not done your homework, not attempted it, haven't put in the effort, I can't help you. I can't help you. I mean, I can't teach you topics that you should have known before you got here. I'm happy to help you with them, but if you don't have the time in the day to do these things, then it's going to be a real challenge. So study habits is important because that really is time. That's time management. What else makes a good student? Motivation. Sure, that's a good one. Motivation. I'll tell you a little bit about myself, even though it's not about this is not about me today. When I started college, okay, I did great the first semester. Great. And then second semester, my girlfriend and I broke up. I was devastated, heartbroken. So I just want to go out and party, just have fun, live life. I was young, wanted to enjoy myself, didn't really know what I wanted to do. So I screwed it up, went from, I think I started college mechanical engineer. Then at some point I switched over to, no, architecture started, then mechanical engineer, then I don't even know, physics, and then wound up with math. But what really happened was I got put on academic probation, if anyone's ever been there, okay? So they just kind of slap you on the wrist, say, bring up your grades or else. Well, I got the or else. So the next semester I screwed up even more. And then at some point I had to sit out for a semester. So I couldn't go back to the university. So then I sit out, I go back, and I screw up again. So I get academic dismissal. If anyone's ever been on that, I doubt you have. It's 1 year out, okay? Then you have to petition to get back in. So you have to go to the dean, you have to letters of recommendation. You have to basically tell them your life is changed in some way that you're ready for school. And I really wasn't sure, but I petitioned, and I was like, okay, maybe it's time to get my shit together. Maybe it's time. My parents are disappointed. My friends are all starting to get to where they're finishing college, and I'm still just, what the hell am I doing? And so I went and tried to petition to get back into the university, and the dean basically told me on the phone, don't even bother coming in. You're not coming back to this college. That's it. But I was persistent. I was scared, actually, at that point. I was like, shit, I might not be able to go to college now. And I demanded that I meet with him. I walk in, he's on the phone. He's just irritated that I'm in his office. And he's like, sit down, and I sit down, and I look on his desk, and there's this picture of this girl, which I could only imagine was his daughter, in a wedding dress, next to this guy who was this kid I grew up with, played through first through 8th grade. We were good friends. So I told the dean, got off the phone. He's like, what's your name? And I told him, and I was like, he's like, yeah. And I was like, you know Vince? And he's like, you know Vince? I go, yeah, Vince and I, man, we good buddies, and we started talking about his son-in-law, how his daughter met him, and then by the end of our 30-minute conversation about his son-in-law, he's like, what do you need me to sign? And that was it. And that was my break. That's the break I got. I went back to school after that. No messing around. I said, what am I going to do? Okay? I'm going to choose the hardest thing that there is and prove to myself and everyone else that I actually can think. So what's the hardest thing? Well, I thought math. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying in my mind, math was the hardest thing. So I said, I'm going to try and do a math degree. And that's what I did. But what happened for me was it was a switch, okay? I just matured, okay? I got to the point where it was not screwing around anymore. It was business time. And then from that point on, I never looked back, all right? So if you're at a point in your life where you're just not to that maturity, that place where you can be motivated to be in here, even if you're a biology major and you don't need math, if you can't be motivated to be in here, that's why you're in. That's why they want you in here. Okay? That's why that pre-med has Cal 2 on it. They want to see if you can be motivated for something that you don't like. And if you can't, they don't want you. Make sense? All right. What else? Anything else about students? I'll put one up here. Initiative. Asking for help. All right? Asking for help. Everyone, gets to the point where they're either too afraid to ask for help or they think they know it all. I've been warned, okay? I've been warned by other faculty who've taught this. You're going to get these students in here. They just walk through high school. They come in here. They're like, I'm not even going to do homework, and I know this shit. Who cares? Okay? And I hope that's not the case, because I hope that you will be challenged appropriately in this class, and that when you do hit that wall for that first time, maybe it'll be the first time you walk through math from this. Math has always been strong, always been, great math student. Then you come here and you're like, oh, wait, hold on. and you don't even know how to ask for help because you've never needed to. So, and then the student on the other end who's always struggled with math and just sits there and crumbles away and withers out of the classroom. That student has to know how to ask for help also. And where do you ask for help? Each other, me, right? But I can't, I'm not going to call you up on a Saturday afternoon and be like, hey, let's talk about math, let's do it. Let's do this. You got to want to do it. I think that's it. We could keep on going. I wanted to go back, though, and just talk about this second chances real quick, okay? When you come in here for a test, okay? In fact, when you come in here every day, there's an expectation, all right? If I give you a homework assignment tonight, the expectation is that you have it done by the next class, not the next week because you work 40 hours a week and you don't have time to do your homework except on Sunday nights. That doesn't fly. You come in here on a Tuesday, I give you homework, you should have it done on Thursday. Am I going to collect it? No. Should you have it done? Yes. If you don't have it done, should you be surprised if you're struggling? No. Okay? The expectation is that you are keeping up with this. So on a test, when you come in and take a test, the expectation is that you've mastered that material on that day, by that day, no second chances. That's the time. It's your time to perform right then. All right. If I come in here and I say, look, let's go ahead and do this. We're going to have 3 tests, but your final can replace your lowest grade. No one's ever going to feel the pressure, the true pressure, until they've exhausted that one free test, right? You take the person, well, I didn't do great on that. I'm a human, though, okay? Hopefully I've explained. I have failed a lot, all right? So I understand that sometimes things can go wrong, and I'm willing to talk about options, but whatever options we consider as a class. So I'm never going to, pull you aside and be like, look, I'll let you retake that test, and then no one else gets that option. Everyone has to have that option. So I'll be fair, but I do not want you to have a mentality that you will get another opportunity at a test. My rule of thumb is this: if you are ever studying for a test and you feel like you're ready for that test, you're probably 60% ready. All right? You're not truly ready for the test until you're like probably dreaming of the stuff. You're like dreaming it. That's when you're really ready. Right? But, yeah. Well, scratch that. You may not have to dream about it, all right? But you get the idea, right? It's that it's so clear to you that you could teach it to someone else practically. I will give reviews for tests. There is on our website, I don't want to bring up the website because it's been slow all day. On our website, there is a list for each exam. So exam 1, there is a list here of all of the homework assignment problems. And I took this from another faculty member. What it is what we consider to be C-level problems and A and B-level problems. So like when you're going through your homework, if you want to be a C student, you need to be able to do those problems. If you want to be an A-B student, you need to be able to do those problems. Does that make sense? So as you're doing your homework, you say, wait, this one's kind of hard. You look over here and go, oh yeah, number 69 there, that's an A-B problem. If I want an A on that test, I've got to be able to do that problem. All right? And I'm not going to stray from that. I'm not going to sit here and give you all this homework and then give you a test and make up different problems you've never seen before and be like, ha, ha, ha. This isn't a grand master plan to make you suffer. It's if you do the work, the test will be a fair representation of what you've done. In Canvas, okay, under Files, I believe it's over there under like Exam Stuff or something like that. If you haven't been on Canvas in this class, there's a lot of stuff there. I keep putting it out there. The link to this video and all the videos from here on out will be there. So spend some time there. Anything else? We've eaten up a good 40 minutes. We have an hour left. I'm ready to get down to business. All right? Your first assignment, which will be a quiz grade, is I'm going to hand it out to you. Okay? I want you to just look at it for now, and I'm going to talk about it. This is the answer sheet, so don't write anything on this right now. All right, just take a look at it. I'm going to step out of the room while y'all just talk about it for a few minutes. I'll come back and I'll get kind of an idea of how you feel. All right? Everybody have a copy? No, you still need some over there? Got any extras? Okay. Enough there. I'll go ahead and pause my video while you... Has everyone had an opportunity to kind of just take a look and get some sort of feel for what's in your hand there? Are you going to work with a group? Yeah, why don't you find a group, which maybe not that group, there's 5. Maybe you can slide over here, or I don't know, whatever you want. There's only 2 here. Can you all make some room on the end and let them slide in there? Okay. So here's, I already put what the purpose of this assignment is, right? On the top there. Whether or not your degree is biology or chemistry or engineering or whatever, the biggest skill you can come out of in this class is just problem solving, right? Problem solving. So I've given you something most of you probably have never seen before. It's polyalphabetic cipher, if you've ever seen it. The Enigma machine, there was a movie recently on the Enigma machine, is based on a polyalphabetic cipher. So all it is it's a shifting of the alphabet, okay? And the code word here needs to be deciphered. And I'm not going to tell you anything else. I want to see if y'all can figure it out, all right? But to figure it out, you have to be able to solve each of those 14 problems. So maybe that's where you start. I don't know. But this is what you're going to work on for the rest of the day. And if you have a question, okay, don't ask me. You send a representative from your table to another table. If all tables don't know what the hell's going on, then I'll talk about it. But you are on your own on this. At the end of class, I will collect the handout, okay? You're not to take it home. And when we come back next class, you'll continue it, all right? But everything's going to be worked on in this class. Don't write on that. That's all right. If you already did, it's okay. It's just, I'm not going to collect that. So this is the answer key, where you put your work. Everybody has to write work down, okay? Can't be a group thing. What's that? What do you need? The controller? The remote? Oh, yeah, I'll get one. Hold on. Don't be looking up polyalphabetic cipher on the internet right now. Okay. Here you go. Okay, your name. Hold on a second. Hold on. What's your last name? Yeah, so you're number 1. That's yours for the rest of the semester, but you have to give it back to me. End of class, right? If you have a question on a formula or something like that, nobody at your table knows it, you need to find another table that knows that formula. Yep. All right, let's talk. You got your clickers? All right. So how many of you are feeling a little overwhelmed right now? So 1 is yes, and 2 is no. 3 mean no, just, I mean, okay, yes, you feel more comfortable than this than you feel not comfortable with this. So that means more people feel uncomfortable with this. All right. Good. I just want to know. Everyone done voting? Okay. So that's a pretty big contrast there, right? Now, that was the intention of this assignment, okay? I did not want to give an assignment where you'd have people sitting there going, am I really having to sit through this shit, really? Like, I know how to do all this. Why am I here, I wanted to challenge all the little things, the little fractions and exponents and all these things that we're supposed to know, and make sure you really know them to the level you're supposed to know them. Let's actually take some questions on this. I'd like to talk about it a little bit. So it's okay to feel overwhelmed is what I'm getting at. What do you want to talk about? How about number one? Something about number one. I'm not going to go through all these, all right? Number one, something I want to point out. Is there an extra one floating? An extra copy of the assignment? Let me have one of these. Yeah, I want to keep the problems that way. No one goes and gets an unfair advantage and does them all, and have someone help them. And so on the first one, what am I trying to get you to be able to do on the first one? Well, I want you to be able to work with fractions. Hold on a second. Give me just a second. I thought this was the solutions. Oh, here we go. Okay. One of the most important things is to know that that first fraction flips over. Anytime you have 1 divided by a fraction, it's the same as the reciprocal, right? And I put, well, it got erased, but I'll point something else out. If someone writes 2 over 5 over 2, what's that equal to? 5? 1/5? This is what would be considered bad notation, okay? Because I can't tell where the major division bar is. So when you write something like this, this is not correct to write it this way. I have to specify, that means 2 divided by 5 halves, as opposed to this, which would mean 2/5 divided by 2. Totally different answers to these two things, all right? So when I wrote that problem down, notice that I made one of the division bars longer, right? That was on purpose. That's so you know that the 1 is by itself on top, right? So to do this first one, I'm really doing 2 divided by 5 halves, which is same as 2 times the reciprocal, which would be 2 over 1 times 2/5, which would be 4/5. That's what that would be. Do you follow that? Yeah. That one would go the other way. I would go, 2/5 divided by 2, which is the same as 2/5 divided by 2 over 1. I'm turning it into a fraction. 2. Now I flip it. 2/5 divided by 1/2. Yes? Multiply straight across. Times, sorry. Multiply straight across. 2 over 10 is 1/5. Okay, so that was it. And then, of course, the rest of the problem, you need to be able to add fractions together and subtract fractions, get common denominators. And do not depend on your calculator for that. Here's why. Where we're headed, you're not going to have numbers. You're going to have expressions. You're going to have variables. So you can't go to your calculator and have it add the two things together. So you need to know how to get common denominators. All right, what about the second one? On the second problem, what I'm looking for there is whether or not you know how to solve a quadratic equation. And the problem, when it breaks down, I think most of you got to this. I'll help you with this one, okay?
because a lot of you had this. That we got by just multiplying both sides by 13. It kills off the fraction. Then what can you do? Break it down by pulling a GCF, greatest common factor, out. What is that, 9? And then that brings up the all-important next step, which is the one thing you must be able to do in this class walking in day one, which is factor. Okay? If you struggle with factoring, this class is going to not be fun. All right? I'm just being honest. I told you I did all that homework. Can't tell you how many times I factored in that homework. At least 20 times I factored. All right? And it was all done mentally because I'm comfortable with factoring. And that's where you should be. It should not be this part of the step, or this step of the problem should not take half an hour at this point. It's a quadratic. It's a trinomial. You're trying to break this down to two linear factors. The 7, does it matter? It doesn't matter, right? Why? I factor. I could divide both sides by 7, couldn't I? And then 0 divided by 7 is still 0 on the right side. 7 divided by 7 is 1. It's gone. Right? So the 7 doesn't matter. I still have 0 over here. So how do you do this? And that depends on you. All right? The way I do it, I need my first two terms to multiply to be x squared, so I just pick one to be x and the other one to be x also, right? I need my last number to multiply to be a 9, but I need my middle number. I need the numbers to add up to be what? -6? -3, -3. You could check it, but that works. Okay, I cannot stress this enough. Factoring. If you're struggling with factoring, you have to address that. All right? It's like, hey, we're going to go run a marathon. You don't have shoes? All right. You need to go get some. Now what? When you have two factors equal to 0, you set each factor to 0, right? You set each one equal to 0, so I do x minus 3, set that equal to 0. I do the same with the other, but it's identical, so I don't need to. Solve that, you get 3. Right? There's more than one way to solve this. Okay? You kept the 7, and you factored, so you have big numbers. Okay? You got 3, though, right? Okay? And what if you couldn't factor this? What do we have when all else fails with a quadratic equation? What do we have? If we can't break it down, quadratic formula. How many of y'all saw that quadratic formula? -b plus or minus square root b squared. You know what I'm talking about? Okay, we'll see that again, but everything on your homework factors, everything I've given you factors. All right, what about number 3? That was just making sure you get all your signs correct, right? How about 4? Just plug in numbers. Are you here for the class? Oh, no. Okay. Just plug in numbers, right? Plug in a number, make sure you square things properly and stuff. How about number 5? 5's worth talking about. Looks like it, but I do know a student did recognize this. The numerator looks ugly, but it's identical to the denominator, except everything's off by sign. Do y'all see that on number 4? I mean, no, number 5? And if everything's off by sign, I can factor -1 out of the numerator. That changes the signs of everything, doesn't it? And then they're identical, so then they cancel. Which leaves this to be, this whole thing, once these are gone, leaves this to just be -1. Now over here, also notice that I pull a 2 out of the numerator because they both had a factor of 2. Now these look very similar except what? The signs are different again. This is x squared minus 4. This is 4 minus x squared. So, oh, I did mine a little different than I showed it over here earlier. I factored this as a what? X squared minus 4 factors as a, what do we call that? Difference of squares. That's part of the factoring techniques that you should know. Difference of squares. X squared minus 4 becomes x plus 2x minus 2. 4 minus x squared becomes the opposite, 2 plus x, 2 minus x. These two are identical, right? So they cancel. X plus 2 is the same as 2 plus x, right? These two are not identical. They're off by a sign. Positive x, negative 2, positive 2, negative x. So how can we make these the same? What did I do? I took a negative 1 out of the bottom here, right here. Do you see that? Pull a negative 1, it changes the sign here and the sign here. Now these are the same, this and this. Is it okay that they're the different order? I mean, as long as the signs match up, right? Right, this positive x, negative 2, they're the same. Let's see, poll me. I'm going to poll you real quick. How many of y'all understand everything I just went through there? How many of you understand, yes or no? Yes is 1. Okay, so not quite 80, which is what we're going for. So who of the 24% wants to be brave and explain which part of this they're having trouble with? Anyone want to be brave? Yes? What part? Right here? Okay. Is it more of a question of why I did it or like mechanically how it's working? Or both? Both? Okay. I want to know if these cancel, right? I have to recognize that they're very close to each other. I have to see that these are almost the same. Like I want them to cancel, but they're not quite going to do it because this one's a positive x, this one's a negative x. Positive 4 is not the same as negative 4. And this one's negative 2, this one's positive 2, so I can't get those. I can't get this to go away unless I change the signs and make these both different, right? Make this one negative, this one positive. Then they're identical. You agree? But the tricky way of doing that is to realize that you can factor out a negative 1. You can do that to anything. You can factor a negative 1 out. And when I pull a negative 1 out here, it changes the sign. This positive 2 becomes negative. The negative x becomes positive. If you don't agree with that, put the negative 1 back through, and it would give you that. Go ahead. You mean do it up here instead? Oh, yeah. Rearrange this as x minus 2? Yes. Yes. I just didn't do that because I really wanted you to see that I did pull a negative 1 out. And it changed that positive 2 to negative 2, the negative x to positive x. Then you could change the order and it would match up identically, right? Yes? Okay. Revote. If you already voted, you don't have to. Any of the no's now yeses? Okay. All right, we're good. All right, then you put it together. There was a tricky negative in here, so the negative 1 from the beginning minus, we just got negative 2 over here, and so that becomes plus 2, and that's 1. I'm running out of time. Okay, so what we'll do, we're going to work on the rest of this next time. What do you have to do between now and next class? If you haven't done filling out the schedule online, checking your email when you're free, right, to study. You also have the Survey Monkey survey that I asked. You don't have to do that, but I really would like you to. And then isn't there a syllabus confirmation quiz that you do online? It's a quiz you have to take that just says, I've read the syllabus, I understand the requirements of the course, blah, blah, blah. And homework. So what's your homework? See, I still have 5 minutes. I left myself just enough time. Nope. I'm going to tell you what it is right now. If we can actually get in here. What I'd like for you to do is, the problem that I handed you, this right here that has all the problems on it, I'd like for you to get them together and hand them all up, just get them all to this table. Keep your answer key. I want the problems back. If you what? Can I put my name on it? You can put your name on it, and I'll give it back to you next time. Yep. It looks like Northwest Vista's website, or looks like the whole internet's down here. Oh, well, maybe not. I might just have to write the homework down. Online, though, there's a schedule that shows day by day what your homework is, and you can print it out. It's like an Excel spreadsheet. Everything that's for homework tonight is a review of algebra and polynomials, right? And so I'll write down the homework because it doesn't look like the website's coming up. It is, but ACES isn't coming up, at least not on my computer. It is. It's always like this, right? What the heck? Which review? It's your homework. So I would expect that you attempt this by next class. If I keep going and I'm like, doing something and I'm factoring and you're like, I still don't know how to factor. I'm like, did you do your homework? And you're like, yes. And I said, how could you do your homework and not know how to factor still? You know what I'm saying? Okay. So this is from section R2, and it's numbers 23, 25, 27, 73 through 76, 91, 92, 94, 103, 104, 119 through 133 odd. Sorry, 136, 139. Then from R4, 29, 35, 37, 43, 45, 69, 73, 81, 87. You can take a picture of that if you want. I'll jump through it. I don't know the page number. These are the sections out of the book. It's like usually chapter 1, section 4. This R is the R chapter in the very beginning of the book. It's the review chapter. So it'd be the homework assignment. The homework set for R2 would be in the back of R2. You need to go to the tutoring lab, or you need to go to the library. I think they have the book there, or you need to get a classmate, take a picture of the problems or something like that. You're responsible for getting your hands on this homework assignment. Now, I will say, again, on our Canvas website, I've actually worked all these problems, and I've posted the solutions completed for all these problems. Anybody see them yet? No? I would show you, but I can't get to Canvas. But here's where they are. It's on ACES. So like here are my solutions. If you go take a look at these, I have all the solutions to all these problems worked out, okay? For R2 and R4. So if you're doing something, you get stuck, you can come look at this and maybe make sense out of it, okay? I try and show as much as I can, like from here to here, I used this property. From here to here, I used this property, all right? From here to here, I use these properties. So I'm trying to show as much detail as I can in my solutions, all right? I will not necessarily do this for the whole semester. This is just the beginning to get us off the ground, all right? I will not collect it. I will give you a quiz at the beginning of class, and I will pick 2 or 3 problems directly from this homework assignment. And you'll walk in, you'll take the quiz, you'll turn it in, that'll be the quiz, and then we'll continue working on these, okay? Yep, I'll put back. Is everyone clear? Yeah, I'm gonna get back. Everyone clear on what's expected for next time? If you need any help or want to talk, where the hell did it go? Turn in your clickers. Put them right here on this desk right here. Where'd it go? There it is. Is that what you're looking for? Okay. Okay. I can't show you because this is not working. But give me a second. I'll try again. Sir, I'm going to switch from this, sir. You're not listening. You know how to get to the Northwest Vista's website?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
You have what? Okay, the problems. Think. Here, he's got them written down here. You still need them? No, you're good? I think we're good. Just set them over there. Make sure you turn your clicker in. You too. All right, man. It does not want to. It's like the whole web is down. It's crazy. Yeah. I don't have a copy of them with me. Yeah, go if he'll let you. Go for it. Yeah. Clicker, go sit on that table, please. Okay, so yeah, you've been there before.
Yeah.
There's a tab that says log into ACES.
Yeah.
Okay. When you get into ACES, there's a tab that says I think it's courses. Click on that, and it should bring up your class.
Okay.
Click on that. That takes you to Canvas.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Can't show you anything here. Sorry. All right. Mhm. What's that? Nope. It's all online on Canvas. There, it finally came up. The whole semester. Yep. Well, well, they. I have another class right after this, and it's in this room, and so I was like, it would be so easy. It's so much better for me not have to move all this. So. I'm sorry that I was a little late. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. I figured more people would be because they looked at the old schedule and.